and a mother nearly in tears, Minister, because her child has no place in the education system. And I welcome the parents here in the gallery today, the warriors who have been fighting so hard, taking legal action, pitching tents outside Leinster House. And what are they fighting for, Minister? Fighting for their basic rights, their constitutionally enshrined rights, the access to education. I was at a fair in Mayo over the Easter holidays, and I met a beautiful family and a mother nearly in tears, Minister, because her child has no place in the education system, locked out of the education system. And there are 14,000 children across this state waiting for assessments of need. 13,000 children waiting for their first contact with the Children's Disability Network. Minister, there is a window of opportunity. Children are undergoing rapid development from 5, 7, 10. You know, that age is critical. It's fundamentally critical, because to lose this opportunity for these children is a devastating loss. And we know that early intervention and early resources into this critical age will have a dramatic impact on the ability of these children to live their lives independently. And it is a sin, it is a crime, Minister, that these children are being failed at such an important developmental time in their lives. Minister Niall Collins stated recently, in response to this statement, that children do not require a diagnosis or an assessment of need to access services. And while this is technically true, I have to say, Minister, it shows an extreme lack of understanding of what is actually happening on the ground, because children without assessments of need are very often left to the bottom of the queue. That's the reality. In fact, I know of a school in Mayo where children have an assessment of need, and yet there is still due to the lack of resources, there is a prioritisation necessary. And in fact, in this case, Minister, the prioritisation was given to the younger child, because it was believed that there was he was longer in the school system, and the older child would be essentially left. And that is what's happening on the ground. So it's very disappointing that the Minister's statement shows such a lack of understanding on the ground. Minister, I could go through years of statements where your government and the previous government, and actually the government from 2011, made commitments and realised the importance of early intervention. And yet so little is happening on the ground. When are these endless promises going to be met? The government has made commitments this year. There is a huge shortage of psychologists, speech and language therapists, and yet there's a major bureaucracy around actually qualifying people and young people who want to access these careers. Minister, I'm calling for you to prioritise these vulnerable children.